flash yesterday. You didn't do it.
No, I will do it. Okay, I didn't get time. I will send you the new video for that. But Presto is not a problem at all. It is so clear. All right. So what we are covering today is UDF. Anybody? What is meant by UDF? User defined functions. So Hive has got this great ability for you to write your custom functions, and you can register into Hive. So let's assume that in the standard SQL, there are some functions which are not available, but you want to use it very frequently. You can write your function and you can add it to Hive. So I'll cover an example. After that, I will show you the practicality of this. Okay, very, very useful and powerful concept. So as usual, please go to start your virtual machine and go to the command prompt. Open a browser on your virtual machine and go to forourson.com/passion, and you will see a file called myudf.tar. Okay, myudf.tar. Just click on that. Okay, you may try to do along with me. myudf.tar. Okay, not a problem. I'll give you some time here to do this today. And then click on save file so that it is coming to your downloads folder, right? And then come to the command prompt and move to the home directory. Okay, why I'm moving to the home directory is when I'm extracting it, automatically it will create the directory for me. So move download /myudf.tar to your home directory and then tar xvf myudf.tar. So as you can see, it automatically created a directory called myudf. Right? So come to cd myudf. As you can see, it is a build.xml based code, which means that am I using Maven or Ant? I'm using Ant, right? If it is Maven, what you should have? pom.xml. We have seen that. Now this build.xml will not work for you. You know the reason. Okay, it's coming from my system. There is no reference to your MapReduce lib that you created. So can you tell me where you can find out your build.xml? Remember the MapReduce programs, that concept 1, concept 2 and all. So open the command prompt, and then if you look at ls, and then if you see where is it? Is it simple mr and then ls vi build.xml and yeah, home/cloudera/masterlib. This is referring to the masterlib folder. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make sure that there is a masterlib available. Is there a masterlib available? There should be a masterlib available on your home system, on your home directory. Otherwise, it is not going to work. Yes, the masterlib is there. We created it in the beginning of our course where we write all our MapReduce programs, right? So simplemr contains the build.xml that I want. So I am coming back to my old command prompt and I am going to replace this build.xml which is coming from my system with your build.xml. So how will you do that? cp, and from your home directory, go to that simplemr which you have just seen and take that build.xml and put this one dot, so that it will ask you whether you want to overwrite your existing build.xml type y. So now it is referring to your masterlib directory, right? Now comes the code. So inside the source, I have com ls, I have passion and ls, okay, and there is a directory called udf. So my upper.java is a custom user defined function that we are going to write and register onto Hive. Please clearly understand this. If I start Hive, okay, in another command prompt, I'm just starting Hive, right? You know that you have got my schools, and yesterday we created a table called demo, right? So when you look at show tables, you can see there is my schools. If you look at the columns in my schools, how will you know the columns? Describe command. You know school ID, school name, and everything is there. Okay. And if I write select school name from my schools, it is going to print me as usual all the school names that are there in that table, right? Now, if I write, let us say, I want uppercase for all these school names, which is a mix-up of lowercase and uppercase. Assume that, you know, for your certain application, you want everything to be in uppercase. So I am going to write upper or something like that, okay? Upper or my upper, for example, my upper. In bracket, I am going to write, say, school name, okay? From my school's directory. See what is happening, okay? When you write this, it is telling that invalid function my upper. Look at that clear error message. It is an invalid function. This one, right? Invalid function my upper. That means this function is not registered at all. And what we are going to do is, I'm going to make it work. How? We will write our function, user's function, and we will register it into Hive. This is very powerful. Why? Because the moment you register into Hive and when you write it, all the facility of distributed programming for your function, you will automatically get it. It will be distributed onto all the nodes and it will get executed. So, how will we do that? Go back to your command prompt, okay? And inside the UDF, I have got this function called myupper.java. Again, little bit of Java is coming. Do you remember how we wrote partitioner? I told you, in Java, there are some classes and interfaces which are provided by default and you need to extend it or implement the interfaces and create your own classes. So we created a partitioner by extending the partitioner class. Remember inheritance and all the concepts that I talked to you. So if you look at upper.java, you can see that there is a function available in this one, in this one called UDF. So it is extending that UDF. That is one thing. And this UDF is available in this particular package. And all these packages are already available in your masterlib directory. And we already pointed our build.xml to masterlib directory. So very simple. So you write your class myupper and extend UDF. So if you want to call your function as Vasavi, so final class Vasavi, and then you write your particular function. All right. Whatever you want to do, you give a function name, and after that you write an evaluate method, and inside the evaluate you are creating something here. I'm going to change this particular code. What this function is doing, as you can see inside this particular code, I'm just adding the word percipient. I don't want that. What I want to do is I just want to convert that string to uppercase. That's all I want to do. So I'm going to write s dot to uppercase. What does it doing? Any parameter that is coming in to this particular function, it will be converting that into uppercase whenever you call the function named myupper. But there are some things that you need to do. After compiling, you have to register it to Hive. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you are going to register it. What is the first step? The first step is compiling the code. And how will you compile the code? You have to go to cd.dot where your build.xml is there. So ls build.xml is at this particular point, right? And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write and, right? And it will compile the code by referring to the masterlib directory, and then it is going to create the jar file for me. Okay? Look at that. Inside the dist folder, myhadoop.jar is created as usual, right? But this myhadoop.jar is not containing your word count program. What is it containing? Myupper. It is containing, right? Then, if you look inside that folder, I have given you a text file, which is a help to you. I am opening that help file on the other window. Why? Because this window I am going to reserve it. Okay, I can open it in this window itself. So, VI, if you look at the files, you see this help on udf.txt. So, that is a help file for you in order to refer to the future. And all the steps are written inside this. We have written already this particular class. That's what we have done. After that, you have compiled it. Okay, there is a spelling mistake. So we have compiled that particular code as well. And then what we are going to do is we are going to register it to Hive by typing the jar file name. But remember, our jar file name is myhadoop.jar, not myudf.jar. And where are you typing that command? In the Hive prompt. So let's go to that Hive prompt that we have. Okay, it will not work if you write add jar myhadoop.jar here. Why? If I come out of this, you look at the directory where I am. I am at the wrong place. I am in the home directory. myhadoop.jar is not available here. So what I am going to do is come to our folder myudf, and you know that we created a dist by your ant, and now if you look, your myhadoop.jar is here. Okay, actually you don't need to do this explicitly. I'm just showing you if you are not giving the path. Otherwise you have to give the path when you are giving the add file. Okay, and now you start Hive. That means your Hive is started from the directory where your jar file is there. Okay, very important. Otherwise you will get, what is the exception you are going to get? File not found. That's it. So you know exactly what is the problem. Now the Hive is created. I'm going to write add jar my Hadoop dot jar. Okay, refer to the command add jar my Hadoop dot jar. Right, press enter and then put semicolon. It will tell you now that okay, I registered it. Now Hive knows that there is a file. Not enough. Did you tell anywhere what will be your function name? You told your class name. What is your class name? myupper is your name of the class. But you didn't tell Hive that use that class for this function. Are you understanding? Okay. So you have to attach the function name with your class. That's the next step which we are doing here. Look at this. Create temporary function myupper as this particular class. And where is this class available? Already it is available in the myhadoop.jar, which you already added it. Are you getting the idea? So if you, without adding it, if you are writing this, it will tell you what? com.passion.udf.myupper not found. Okay, so look at clearly the error messages. Create temporary function. Why that is temporary function? Why it is not a permanent function? What will happen if I close and restart my Hive? It will not be available. Why? You are adding to your Hive session. Remember, I started Hive prompt. So that is only for this session. And when I close my virtual machine and I start it again, it is a new session and it will not be available. Normally, this is the practice. Now, if you want, say, your quality team or your ETL team, everybody should access it every time. What you need to do is, I have written it on the top. You can permanently put that myudf.jar into Hive's lib directory, which means permanently you are adding that to the lib directory. Normally, organizations will not allow it. Why? Because that Hive library is coming from Hortonworks or Cloudera, and they don't want to change that permanently, right?
Can you create one library similar to that?
No, you can't, because Hive is automatically taking that particular library.
Pain really every time whatever function you need to query. It's a small query.
You have to temporarily register it for now, right? If you don't want it, you put it into Hive lib, or you put it into your class path. You know already what is path and class path in Java. Okay. So for now, just use this particular way. Okay, because you will not be allowed to change your Hive lib. They will tell that okay, it is coming from Hortonworks or Cloudera. We need their support in order to change that lib directory. Also all kind of things. So what we are going to do is I am going to create this particular function now, and let us call it as myupper. Okay. So right click, copy, and come back to your Hive prompt. Everything you are doing in the Hive prompt, please remember, okay? It is not at the command prompt. And then do a paste, which means that now I am registering my function. So please look at the steps. Step 1, you are creating the jar file by typing ant. Then you are going to the dist folder and you are starting Hive from there, which means that when you start Hive, it has access to this myhadoop.jar. Then you are creating add jar myhadoop.jar command, which will register your jar file into Hive. Then you are telling that your function name is this, which is associated with this particular class. These are the steps that you need to do for registering it. And you can see, as always, OK came in, right? Which means that now myupper is available. Now let us look at the error that we got earlier. Okay. I am now going to call my function, okay, u is lowercase, sorry, uppercase, and I am going to give the my schools now. I should not get an error now. Instead, I should be seeing what? All in the caps lock, right? Which means that now your function is executed. Come on, what is the application of this for data quality? It is very, very important. Assume that there are some 5,000 fields in your databases like claim ID, claim number, or policy number, etc. And you want to do a custom validation depending upon the organization's rule. For example, policy number should not be more than 8 characters. Policy number should be 8 characters, dash, and then a digit. If you want such validations, it is not a good practice that in your ETL or something every time you are writing that particular code. You will register it as a custom function, and from your quality tool you will call that custom function, which automatically will do that particular validation and then will give you true or false. Okay, so you can register some 20 to 30 such functions, and you can create a library in Hive telling that DQ library, and then register all that functions and then use it wherever you want, whether it is Informatica or whether it is an API from Atlas or whether it is some other tool, and you want to call, since it is originated in Hive, you will be able to call it from any tool that you want, right? And that's the advantage of this particular thing. Okay, now if I write select count of my upper of school name, right, from, let us say, my schools, it is now running a MapReduce function. And if you look at the way it is working, it is now not a MapReduce function which is given to you by default by Hive. What is happening internally? It is now distributing the code that you have written also into all the different nodes. So without any difficulties, your particular code is getting distributed. So you made your function, even though you wrote it only once, you made it completely distributed. So if it is a very expensive function which is taking a lot of time, you can distribute it in this way. So don't write ETL at all, because if you write ETL and if you are calling that function from ab initio and all, that ab initio or Informatica is distributed only to 1 nodes or 2 nodes or 3 nodes. The distribution is limited. But when you are writing it into Hive and you are calling it, then automatically that particular code is getting distributed.
But Ravi, the point here is we do in any use case we don't want to change the source, right? We are like changing the source.
I did not change any source anywhere. But I wrote a standalone Java code and I registered that jar file into existing Hive. I didn't touch any source code, anything at all.
Source data in the sense, source code.
I didn't change any source data. If I write a select star from my schools, what are you saying? Sorry, select star from my schools. It is going to tell me the original data that is available inside this particular one. I just called a function and I told that to temporarily apply that particular function as per my rule. That's all. And I told you, so many people have asked me how to do this one, how to do a regular expression thing. So all the things I implemented as custom functions, which is very, very easy.
So the custom function you created right now is like a query to change everything in the offer.
Right.
But as you said, to check a quality rule or something about the data, how can we do, is everything in upper or not? Like, can we do that?
You have to write the Java code, which is very, very simple.
Java code, what would be the, like, it says true, false, or?
Yeah, it will be returning true or false. Then depending upon that, you can tell that, okay, it is not true. Okay, for example, I will show you, okay, since you're asking this particular thing. Okay, so I'm going to change my particular code and let us go back to our, I'm going to open the command prompt. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change that particular code. So cd my UDF, okay, and then inside ls, I'm going to go to cdsrc/com/passion /UDF, and inside this, instead of myupper.java, what I'm going to do is cp myupper.java to let us call it as what, length validate dot Java. So I'm going to do a length validation this time, okay? And now vi length validate dot Java, and everything is correct. And I'm going to call this particular function as okay, length validate is the name of the class. Length validate dot Java is the name of the file, so it should be length validate extends true. Okay. If s equal to null, return 0. Right, and I think it should be as a string. Now, otherwise, what do you need to do? You need to write the Java code there, which is checking I'm going to write an if condition there to check the length of that particular string. Okay, so return right. So what do you need to do? Let us create a string here, which is a temporary variable. So let us create string x equal to, I'm going to write s dot to string, okay, which is your string. You don't have to change it to uppercase. I'm going to delete this particular line. If x dot length, what is the length that you want to check? Okay, okay. So if x dot length is greater than 8, return false, right? So I don't want this return statement now. I am going to delete this one also. This bracket I don't need because it is a sequential code. Okay. So if s equal to null, nothing to return. So it is return 0. Otherwise, if this is 1, okay, return false. You will get a compilation error. False is a Boolean variable, but you told that your return data type is text. So I am going to give the text false. Okay. Let us write.
The functions always have evaluate.
Yes, absolutely. That is Java. Okay. Else return
See, in this program, what happens is after every column, it gives true, false, true, false, true, false.
correct.
How can we know how many are true, how many are false?
Count that select count of.
No, if you count it, every time you have to run count. Right?
No, otherwise you write a count of that particular thing as your function. Instead here you write count. Okay, so it depends upon your Java. That's it. Okay, so let's just compile it and just to make sure that it is working. So else return true if x is x length, return false. Else return true. That is correct. I am taking s. Okay, I don't want to write this if condition. Why? Because already that condition is checking whether it is true or false. So I don't need any this particular one. See how simple the code is. So you are checking it, and then if it is greater than 8, it is false. If less than or equal to 8, it is going to give you true. So
We can also return the string itself.
absolutely,
Yeah.
means whatever you want, you can do. That what I want to say is that it is all depending upon what is the code that you are writing, right? So and just check for the errors. There is an error, so else return to. Okay, it is returning string, so we need to change it. Vi, so source com passion UDF length validate dot Java. Inside that, return new text, because this is a string and your return data type is text. So new text of false, and here also new text of true. I think it should work. New text of true. Okay, and now compile one more time. So it's compiling, and now you go back here into your Hive. How will you clear the screen? Any Unix command you want to execute on Hive, put an exclamatory mark, type clear, and then put the semicolon, or Control L. Okay, very nice. Any Unix command you can execute. For example, if you want to execute ls, if you type just ls, it will not give you anything. It will give you an error, right? But if suppose you write exclamation ls semicolon, it will execute the Unix command. So you can execute an operating system command from the Hive prompt. All right. So inside the Hive, what you need to do now? Add jar. What is the name of the file? Yeah, my Hadoop dot jar. It is added into the class path and execute the earlier command. Create temporary function, and I will call it as my length as com.passion.udf. Name of the class is changed. What is the name of the class now? Length validate. All the steps has to be perfect. After that,
Space between my length and as.
huh?
Space.
No, length validation.
There's an extra space between
No.
my length and as.
No problem. Function, create temporary function my length as com dot execution error function
Length
task
validation.
length validate is not found. What happened? Oh, did we compile? We compiled, right?
File name length validation.
No, that's not wrong. That's correct.
Yeah.
Where did I compile? Here, okay. Home Cloudera my UDF dist my Hadoop.jar. Okay, I think I need to start a new Hive prompt because the old cache is taking into effect. So let me close this one and then open another command prompt. I told you it is on session based. I already added that my Hadoop.jar. That may be the reason. So let's see. So Hive. Oh, sorry. CD. What is the name of the directory? No, UDF. My UDF? Yeah, it is my UDF, not UDF. Okay, CD dist ls minus al. Is it the latest? Yes. My Hadoop.jar 534 is, yeah. It's in Pacific time, the virtual machine. So my Hadoop.jar is there, and now what we need to do is we need to start Hive from here. Again, what's the name of the class that we used? Length validate.java. Okay. All right. Hive is there. Add jar my Hadoop.jar. Add jar my Hadoop.jar, right? Now it is added, and now let us try what is that? Create temporary function. Just copy it from the document that I have given you. Create temporary function, right? And then we will call that particular class, right? So right click, copy, come back here, and then paste my length as com dot passion dot what is the directory name? UDF dot length validate.
UDF or my UDF?
No, package name. Don't get confused between your directory name and the package name. Okay, again check here inside this particular code. When you are looking at the code, if you are looking at source common passion UDF, right? And then there is the length validate. So always the directory name is different, right? And now it's okay. And now let us write select my length of, let us say, school name from my schools. So it should check for that value, right? Almost all the things you know, that is more than 8. So if it is less than or equal to 8, it is given there. Now you want the value plus false to be printed. Just add that value also and then write plus. You will get that particular value. What I want you to do is, do not copy this particular code. Write a function called myReverse, okay, which is reversing the school name. Please don't do this one, okay? So that you will get a
So
practice.
where is it storing this false information?
Nowhere. What is SQL, Mahesh? You're asking a SQL question. If you write select ename from EMP, where is it stored?
If you want to,
It is just, huh?
if you want to load into the some flat file or something in the results of these, can we do that?
Presto. Create a table in MySQL as select my length of this particular one from Hive. You learned all the tricks now, right? Otherwise, standalone JDBC client program which will connect to Hive, reiterate through the result set, write into a CSV. Otherwise, create a report in BERT and then load that particular one, save as Excel. How many ways are there?
So the main use you're saying is, I think